I'm in the Greencuisine Trust garden, surrounded by these beautiful summer plants after a refreshing shower of rain. The garden shows that even on a concrete yard, you can grow a variety of herbs for well-being. As well as growing them in raised beds, many can be grown in pots, making herbs ideal for growing in small gardens and backyards. The herbs I'm going to speak about today are easy to grow with many different benefits. Let's start with one of my favourites, lemon balm. It's easy to grow and tolerant of most soils. Bees love lemon balm. By growing it in the garden, you will attract these pollinators. The fresh leaves can be harvested and used in drinks, salads and fruit dishes. Here we have mint, an incredibly popular perennial herb used throughout Europe, Middle East and India. There are many different varieties of mint. This is spearmint, otherwise known as garden mint. Just like mint, thyme has many different varieties. I find it one of those indispensable herbs that enlivens dishes as well as having medicinal benefits. It's hard to imagine summer without the pungent, slightly spicy, warming flavour of basil. It's easy to grow from seed and will grow well in a pot on the kitchen windowsill. Another summer herb is lavender. It has been used for centuries as a flavouring in food, either by itself or as an ingredient in herb de Provence. Since ancient times, it has been one of the most popular medicinal herbs. Over here we have the majestic looking fennel. The leaves and the stems can be used fresh throughout the summer. In the autumn, all parts of the plant, fronds, stems and seeds can be dried for winter use. Wormwood, the notorious flavouring of absinthe. Wormwood is one of the most bitter herbs we know and should only be used under the guidance of a herbalist. Wormwood, infused in water with chili, makes a really effective natural insecticide. This beautiful Gallica rose is a lovely plant to grow in the herb garden. It has both culinary and medicinal uses. Nestled behind the fennel, we have chamomile. This beautiful plant is well known for making a tea to soothe away anxiety and stress. Down here in a pot, we have St John's wort. Whilst St John's wort has no real culinary uses, it is a really important medicinal herb. At the back of the garden, we have comfrey and elderflower. Comfrey is a very beneficial plant to grow. Rotted down, the leaves make an excellent feed for plants, especially your tomatoes and roses. Elderflowers have many medicinal benefits, and the heady scent of the flowers make a lovely addition to salads, drinks and puddings. Before I show you how to preserve and use these herbs, here's Julia Behrens, medical herbalist, to tell you about their medicinal properties.
Lemon balm, also known as Melissa, is a wonderful herb to help enhance natural sleep. I use it a lot with my clients to help with anxiety, but also used as an antiviral for cold sores and herpes. Thyme is another wonderful herb I love using in my clinic. I use it particularly as an expectorant for chest infections. It's got wonderful antibacterial properties, so you could use it as an infusion in the bath, or as a tincture, or even make a tea. Artemisia absinthe has been used since ancient times. It's particularly useful in modern medicine for expelling worms. Artemisia is bitter to taste. It increases stomach acids and bile secretions, which helps improve the digestion. Artemisia is a large family with over 400 species. One of my favourite species is the source of a very potent antimalarial drug, Artemisia annua. Chamomile is a bitter herb and it stimulates the digestive system. It's also very anti-inflammatory. Chamomile is used a lot to reduce tension and anxiety. You can use the flowers to make a tea, or make an infusion, or even a tincture. Some people are allergic to the daisy family, so you need to be cautious when using this plant. St John's wort's another one I use a lot in my practice, Hypericum perforatum. You can harvest the flowers and immerse them in some olive oil and leave them on a windowsill for a couple of weeks, and then use that oil as an anti-inflammatory oil to reduce muscle pain. You can rub it into wounds to help with nerve regeneration. It's also used for sunburn. St John's wort's often used for anxiety and depression, but if you are on medication, do check with a practitioner as it may be contraindicated. Elderflower is commonly used for colds, sinus infections and allergies due to its antibacterial and anticatarrhal properties. Its anti-allergic properties make it particularly beneficial in supporting people with hay fever.
I'm going to show you ways to preserve summer herbs so you can use them throughout the year. Drying is an easy way to preserve herbs and a simple way to use them medicinally. Pick your herbs mid-morning on a sunny day when the morning dew has evaporated from the plant to prevent spoilage. In warm summer weather, herbs can be air-dried. Simply gather small bunches together with string and hang the herbs up to dry. If the weather is cool and damp, this method is best used for low moisture herbs like thyme, rosemary and sage. Fresh herbs with higher moisture content like lemon balm and mint can go mouldy if not dried quickly. So an alternative way to dry herbs is to lay them on a drying screen in a single layer and leave in a warm place until completely dried. Flowers like elderflower and rose petals dry very well this way. If the weather isn't warm enough to dry your herbs, you can also use a dehydrator. I keep some of my herbs in glass jars in the kitchen for immediate use. I also blend some together to make a refreshing summer tea. Experiment to see what combinations work for you. Herbs will lose their potency from prolonged storage with exposure to light, so the larger quantities I store in a paper bag or kilner jar in a cool, dark cupboard. When you infuse herbs in vinegar, or indeed alcohol, medicinally it is referred to as a tincture. I only recommend using apple cider vinegar because of its multiple health benefits. The vinegar draws vitamins, minerals and phytonutrients from plant matter, making a very potent mixture. A tablespoon of vinegar in a pint of warm water is a beneficial way to start the day. Each herb vinegar you use will impart a different property. Catarrh would benefit from elderflower vinegar, sage might help with menopausal symptoms, and thyme is antibacterial, especially with the addition of garlic. Dried herbs generally make a stronger medicinal extract than fresh herbs. During the summer months, however, I generally infuse fresh herbs in vinegar and use them in a variety of ways, both medicinally and culinary. All you need is a clean jar, apple cider vinegar, and your freshly harvested herb. Slightly bruise your herb, then fill the jar and pour over the apple cider vinegar. Tightly secure a lid on the jar, give it a good shake and leave it to macerate for 4 to 6 weeks, shaking daily. At the end of that period, strain out the herb and bottle your finished extract and label. Sometimes I don't strain out the herbs, especially if the vinegar will be used up quickly. The oxymel is an ancient Greek drink made from herbs, vinegar and honey. Traditionally, an oxymel recipe would have been used to administer beneficial herbs that might be less pleasant to take on their own, like wormwood. There are different ways to make an oxymel, but the simplest method I find is to take herb-infused apple cider vinegar and mix with honey. I generally use 1/3 honey to 2/3 infused vinegar. Experiment and see what flavours work for you. bottle and store in a cool place. A shrub is a mixture of seasonal fruits, and summer berries are best, mixed with honey, vinegar and extra flavourings. There are many different ways to make a shrub. Traditionally, the first stage would have been a ferment, and a recipe for this method is on the Greencuisine Trust website. Here, however, is a simple method using equal quantities fruit, apple cider vinegar and honey. Muddle your fruit in apple cider vinegar with any chosen herb. In this case, I'm using basil. Leave the mixture to macerate for 24 hours. Sieve out the fruit and herbs, making sure you push all the fruit pulp through the sieve. Combine with honey and bottle. These are just a few ways you can preserve herbs and benefit from their healing properties. A hydrosol, the co-product from essential oil production, is also one of my favourite ways of using herbs. They are a mild but very effective herbal medicine. All you would ever want to know about hydrosols can be found in Suzanne Catty's brilliant book, Hydrosols. There are, of course, lots of delicious culinary preserves you can make with herbs, including cordials, herb salts, oils, pickles, ferments and pestos. Have fun experimenting so you have a little of the summer sunshine stored away for those winter months.